Hey everybody, I'm Shane Ireland and welcome to another episode of Tasting Notes. I'm still on a mission to smoke my way through the entirety of the new Summit series by Cornell and Diehl and Jeremy Reeves. This is a series inspired by landmarks in our national parks, the outdoors in general really, and it's united by one common factor, and that is that all of them are plug cut tobaccos, which is a seldom seen format these days, originally created as a way to preserve tobaccos while they were in transit. It keeps your moisture content and keeps them stable for a longer time. It also had the unintended effect of, pressure applied to tobacco, as we all know, sort of amplifies richness and jump starts that nice fermentation that we're all looking for when we put tobacco in the cellar to age, and just generally produces a different effect than if this blend was in whole leaf or ribbon cut form. Now I am moving on to the second one of these blends that I have chosen to smoke, and that is Hoodoo Ridge. Ooh, rich, darker. Yes, you have some of the red Virginia maltiness. Yes, there's some spice there as well. This is earthy, a little bit sweet. Maybe a hint of baking spices and a hint of dark fruit. Definitely powerful and definitely rich, and I think that's how I would describe the smoke as well. Even the plug itself, very dense, lots of dark leaf in there. It has almost an oily feel to it when you're cutting it and breaking it apart. Of course, like all the other plugs in the C&D Summit series and plug tobacco in general, one of the features is that you have a lot of control over the cut here. You can slice it thinner if you want it to break out into something that's a little closer to a shag or a finer ribbon. You can slice it a little bit on the thicker side if you wanted to cross cut it and turn it into a cube cut burley, really anything in between. The degree to which you rub out those slices, if you're outside, you can leave them a little bit more chunky, slice it a little bit thicker. If you're inside and you want a little bit of more control over the burn rate, you can go towards the shaggy side of things. So I really love that about plugs, and it does make this whole thing very interesting. It also makes it really challenging to describe your experience with a product like this, because really you'd have to try a ton of different thicknesses of being sliced and packing methods and different pipes and all that good stuff. My impressions so far are based on what I think is a medium width of slicing and sort of rubbing out fully and loading it into my standard group 3 and group 4 pipes. I did give Hoodoo Ridge a little bit more aeration and a little bit more drying time out of the tin, and once you've done that, it loads very easily, takes to the flame very easily. The first light in the first third of the bowl or so, immediately powerful in terms of the flavor. This one for me is medium plus in flavor and in body, medium in strength. It feels very balanced right off the bat, the Virginias versus the Continental leaf here. So I do get some earthiness, I do get a little bit of floral notes, and the genuine St. James Parish Perique and the Turkish start playing off of one another immediately. Through the retrohale, I definitely get some pepper, a little bit of spice, definitely a little bit of some maybe almost drier red wine-like notes instead of dark fruit, but there is something that's fruity there. The first third or the first half of this bowl or so, to me, I don't perceive very much sweetness, especially on the palate. There's a little bit there, and a little bit of a zesty quality and some grainy notes and some grassy notes from the Virginias that sort of prop up the earthiness and the floral quality and the spice of the Perique and the Turkish. But really, this is all about richness right off the bat, richness and spice. It's a blend for the Virginia Perique lovers that are looking for a little bit of a twist on that. The addition of the Turkish leaf, like I said, does really well to sort of counteract some of the spicier tones and the darker fruit notes from the Perique with a little bit of earthiness and a little bit of a floral quality. Basically, this one has kind of something for everybody. A little bit further into the bowl, I do get some baked goods, maybe almost like butter cookies, lightly sweet. And then the sort of more complex things here that I attribute to the Turkish and the Perique, man, maybe even a little bit of nuttiness, a little bit of like roasted almond or roasted peanut. Definitely a little bit of pepper. Something that's almost approaching a boozy quality, like the barrel character you get in like a brown spirit that's been aged in barrels, that can almost touch vanilla or chocolate. Yeah, this is a really complex and really rich blend that is still mild enough and comforting enough to be an all-day smoke for most Virginia smokers, especially Virginia Perique lovers. If you're a fan of Sam Gatewith's Sam's Flake, which is a Stove Virginia with Orientals in it, if you're a fan of, Honestly, I would say Sun Bear Dark Navy cask, that like bright Virginia and Izmir with just a little bit of that, you know, sort of richer rum cask finished honey. I think even sort of stronger Virginias like Rattray's Howl of the Wind or McConnell Scottish Flake, this is really going to be right up your alley. Like I said, it's rich, it's complex, there's enough sweetness there to sort of interplay and balance out like the spicier notes. I also think that, yeah, in a variety of different pipes and playing around with the cut, because you have the fully intact plug here, you sort of have an endless opportunity to experiment, and each of those experiences is likely to be just as complex as what I'm experiencing right now. I'm smoking Hoodoo Ridge in a little sandblasted billiard by Michael Parks, a little Group 4 billiard, lightweight, doesn't get more simple than this, and I like it as a tasting pipe for that reason, and man, this is really singing in this one. Thanks everybody, see you next time.